that are unanswered, that I bet the audience here is eager to hear the answer to, no? Well, you said you started climbing in a gym. How did you find out about climbing? How were you introduced to the climbing scene when you started?
Yeah, so I saw, I think I was 10 years old. I saw the movie Cliffhanger, or I think it was K2. You remember that movie K2? And I was like, wow, that looks amazing. And I was always climbing trees, And then my mom, she took me to the climbing gym, and and then that was big day in my life for sure.
So how did you move on from that? Because just a few years later, when you were 15, you won the American Nationals, and then you were second at the World Championships in Paris. I mean, if you just started climbing in a gym, how did you arrive where you arrived so quick? Do you have any thoughts about that?
I mean, I spent so much time in the climbing gym. It was crazy. I mean, I didn't really have a life outside of the climbing gym, I guess. I just went there every day after school, and every day, all day during the weekend. And I mean, for me, like I was saying, it just the first time that I found something I was really passionate about. And I mean, I think we're so fortunate, we're so fortunate to have something that we're passionate about. It's a really precious thing to have. So we have to take care of it, and give it good food and lots of love, so it can grow and be really strong.
That's right. So that was my next question, actually. So that's basically if you could say, so your climbing philosophy today. It's food and love. That's the method.
Yeah, I mean, I think for me, it's just climbing's it's just, there's a part of it that's like a sport, and then there's but then the essence of it is not really just a sport. It's it's kind of a way of life, to go out and be in nature and to find these projects and find these roots. It's part athletics, and it's part kind of art or something, or creativity. So I think for me, it's just always been a balance between those two things, just to be inspired by nature. Can create such perfect formations to climb on, who would have thought?
Yeah, so you're there in the middle of the nature and everything, but you're also sort of in the middle of a great community, as you can see here. A lot of people obviously came here to see you here tonight. How do you look at yourself as a part of the community, and maybe also as some kind of a role model? Do you have any?
Yeah, well, I mean, I feel really honored and fortunate that I could be in this position, and I mean, thanks so much for coming, and I hope that it's motivating. But for me, it's really rewarding in that way, because I mean, if your life is just only about climbing, and it's just only about yourself, it can kind of be just a selfish thing. Being able to make films like this and to be able to come and share some of my experiences, it really is a really nice way to just kind of get outside of yourself and meet cool people. And I just feel like I had so much support and encouragement through my life. All the people kind of encouraging me to go climbing and reach my goals. So I feel I really would like to help encourage other people and inspire them. So and just so I feel really fortunate to be in this situation, and try to do it in a positive way, so we can all just keep climbing and having a good time.
So there's a question here that I'm sure everybody who's here, they're seeking the answer to this question. I know it's kind of a tough one. What would you say makes what makes a good climber? What do you think makes you, in this case, as you can climb some of these routes that no one else been able to repeat so far?
Well, I mean, I think it's been quoted, by probably quite a few climbers, that the best climbers is the one who's having the most fun, And I mean, in that way, I think that's the prerequisite for being a good climber, or and it's not really necessary that you're climbing at a really high level. I think climbing, someone who's maybe climbing 9A, but who's just really not really having a good time is, you know, probably really, it's not really embodying the essence of climbing as much as someone who's maybe climbing 6A, but who's really, really passionate about it. So, you know, that's the essence of climbing. It's just, you know, to go out and push your limit regardless of your level, you know, because in the end, it's all relative to what's being done right now. So I'm doing climbing routes that are like 9B right now, but, you know, in the future, for sure, it's going to be much harder. And the achievements that I'm doing today are going to seem, you know, relatively insignificant. So in the end, it's just about your personal experience. And I've always looked up to the people that are, you know, really passionate about what they do, regardless of whether they're climbing the hardest routes. That's the spirit, you know.
Yeah, that's right. So I know you sort of your climbing philosophy of training is mostly just to climb and, you know, have a good time, but also always really give your best. Do you think that you could make this sounds a bit weird, but do you think you could be an even better climber if you would follow a strict regime, or do you think that sort of your good feeling with the climbing and just having a good time balances things up in the end?
Yeah, well, I mean, everyone has their own approach, you know, so I think everyone's got to find the way that works for them. And, you know, I can't say that training is good or bad, but, you know, for me, like I guess I don't train in a specific way, but you know, trying a project, you know, 100 times is pretty good training, actually. So, you know, you get pretty pumped, and, you know, in the end, I think that helps you get, you know, better. You know, that's always been my way of improving as a climber, is to find a route that's just out of my range that I really like, and then I have to, you know, to be able to do it, I have to improve, and that's what really motivates me, to improve. You know, so I think for me, that's where my inspiration comes from. And if I was to follow, you know, just a training plan, it might be kind of unnatural for me, and it might kind of not be. It might kind of take the fun out of climbing for me personally. You know, so everyone, like I said, has their own way of doing it. But for me, maybe I'm just not a very you know, disciplined person or something, but it's just kind of, doesn't work for me.
Okay.